Hello, this is Real World Audio. Now, what are the extremes of our listening, of our perception of music, of the frequency perception? And when you do quiet listening, what you can hear, consciously identify, is not 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, even if you have perfect hearing, but it's down to about 60 hertz to 16 kilohertz or even less. If you are into late night super quiet listening, like super duper whisper quiet listening, it might be 500 hertz to 6 kilohertz. Because as you go quieter and quieter, the narrower the range gets, focusing around the 2 to 3 kilohertz region. That's the region where our hearing is the most acute, and we can hear even like the most whisper quietest sound in that area. And now let's go to the super extreme loud other extreme. How is the range there? Is it 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz? Well, guys, this is another shock for you. It is way wider than that. So when we are listening to concert level SPL, like 95 dB plus, then we perceive even more than that. But as far as music and music reproduction goes, I really drew the line around 7 hertz, because below that it's extremely difficult to put together a system that can reproduce it with high quality and integrate it to the sound. And honestly, there's not much recorded material that has stuff below 7 hertz that you can listen. And forcing the region below 7 hertz and reproducing is just will get you only one thing: create structural damage in your house. So you will just if you play material that has a lot of material very high level below 7 hertz, you will just end up collapsing your home on yourself. And the other extreme, 130 kilohertz, how is that going on? And why is that happening? And how is it so that we can hear anything below 20 hertz? Isn't 20 hertz supposed to be the lowest and 20 kilohertz the highest level of perception? Let's get really deeply and nerdily into that. And the reason behind all of these is that the 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz applies for our ears only. So the ears can perceive 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz roughly for a healthy teenager, and at a very loud level. And if we put the level higher and higher, even a 10 hertz sound will become audible with your ears, but that requires such a high SPL that it will probably make your house crumbling down around you, knock down a wall or a support beam, and create extreme hazard. But yes, at extreme volumes, extremely low frequencies are still audible. And there are such low frequency sounds. They occur when we have natural catastrophes, like we have hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. Those kind of situations do result in such low frequency sound. Also, we don't need to go to such extremes. In big buildings, air conditioning systems have a tremendous output under 20 hertz. If you look at windmills for wind power, they have a lot of they have extremely loud output below 11 hertz, even at 1 hertz. Like even like a kilometer away from a wind turbine, you can measure like sub 10 hertz frequency sounds at 120 dB SPL, and that's 1 kilometer away. So that's why When you see these installations, when you have those gigantic windmills to produce solar wind power electricity, there is no residential area anywhere nearby, because if there would be, that would be a significant health hazard, that noise. And even though we do not hear it with our ears, or actually you kind of feel that there's something going on. It's kind of like the air is energized, but it's not something that registers consciously as sound, even at that extreme SPL with those extremely low volumes. But if we would crank the volume higher, then we would very easily identify it as sound. And of course there are sound waves which are even lower in frequency than that. For example, when there are weather fronts and there are pressure changes in the air, and those are like microhertz or even lower frequency sound waves. And can you perceive it? Yes, tons of people get splitting headaches from those extremely low frequency sound waves, while other people, they are totally immune to it. And that's how low frequency sounds are. Some people have extreme sensitivity, and others have absolute zero sensitivity to them. They don't even notice something is going on, because this low range, it works by resonating with your body. And if you hear something, or there you are subject to a frequency that resonates at the exact frequency where a particular organ of yours can resonate, then you have a problem. If you are not subject to that resonant frequency, then you'll be fine. So basically 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz we hear with our ears, and the rest we are picking it up with our body. So our body is the antenna for the extremely low sound waves and the extremely high sound waves. So let's now have a look at the range, breaking it down. So basically this 7 hertz to 20 hertz region, or I would say even below 7 hertz, those are the body resonances. So the body starts to resonate with the sound frequencies, and it causes hormonal and organ feedback. So basically, because your organ starts to resonate, and your glands that secrete hormones, they resonate with the sound, and those hormones are released in your bloodstream, and they create a change in your consciousness. So really, music that has 7 to 20 hertz high content in it, it will make you feel all sorts of feelings. And that's because your body is reacting to the sound at an emotional, a genuine emotional level. And when we look at 20 hertz to 70 hertz, that region still makes the muscles of your body resonate. And so basically you will feel a feedback from your muscles. Your muscles are connected to your nervous system, and your whole nervous system will feel that there's something going on. How you feel in your body is quite largely defined by the tension of your muscles and the tone of your musculature. And these frequency sounds, they will change the muscle tone of your body, and as a consequence the way you feel. However, this region can also be heard, so it's kind of an overlap between bodily perception and your ear perception. Now, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz is the output of your auditory system. And any sound you hear in this range is picked up by our brain and is signaling. So it's picked up by the ear, by the auditory canal, and is signaled to the brain. And even though we can hear consciously up to 20 kilohertz, but that's because the brain has decided to shut down processing beyond 20 kilohertz signals consciously. But subconsciously, those signals are still getting processed even if you can consciously hear up to 12 kilohertz or so. But in most cases, in most listening level, 30 hertz through 16 kilohertz, that's what you can consciously hear as music and also identify as music. And frequencies below 30 hertz do not register as music, it registers as pure energy, and frequencies above 16 kilohertz do not really register as tonal music, it just registers as a high pitch or high whine that does not have musical content. There's not much known about the 50 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz region. We have no studies really on the effect of this and how the brain perceives it. And we know that 100 kilohertz through approximately 130 kilohertz, that those ultrasounds are detected by the skull. So our skull is able to resonate at that extremely high frequency and transmit the lower harmonics of these very high frequencies to the auditory system. And we hear the sub 20 kilohertz lower harmonics of this high range consciously. Not everyone, some people. So if you are one of those who can hear the bats, then you are one of those people whose brain is processing this type of information. Most people are not processing that part. So if you are part of those, and if you don't hear bats, then your body, your brain is not processing this system because the bones in your skull grew in such a fashion that they are not transmitting these lower harmonic vibrations of ultrasound to your auditory system. So we will continue from here. Thank you guys. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.